Hello everyone, my name is Caroline and I am a dietetics and nutrition GA for the Healthy Lifestyle Center in Muncie. And today we're going to be going over sodium and kids. So do need to watch sodium intake for kids too, because there's a lot of questions for children since we know the recommendations around adults. So today we're just going to kind of go through the basics. So sodium, excuse me. It is known that sodium intake needs to be monitored in adults for heart health. The recommended amount is less than 3,200 milligrams a day. So diets such as the DASH diet have been shown to reduce blood pressure. A quote from the Mayo Clinic: "The DASH diet encourages you to reduce the sodium in your diet and eat a variety of foods rich in nutrients that help lower blood pressure, such as potassium, calcium, and magnesium." So we know that for adults there are some diets surrounding sodium to help us get some health benefits. So what about kids? Some studies have shown that reducing sodium can lower children and adolescent blood pressure, but in contrast, some studies say that is still inconclusive. So we're going to kind of go through what we do know about sodium. And there are three main things in this presentation. So one, it is an essential nutrient. While reducing sodium is commonly focused on, it is important to remember that it is needed in the body. I think it gets shamed a lot when it still is pretty important for our cells. For example, sodium plays an important role in hydration. It is one of the electrolytes that needs to be replenished after excessive sweating. So it's commonly seen in sports drinks like Gatorade. And then it's also an essential nutrient in functions such as muscle contraction and nerve function. So number two, there are recommendations. Like we said, the current recommendation for sodium intake is an average of 2,300 milligrams a day. You're supposed to stay around that average. But studies show that almost 90% of kids exceed the daily recommended amount, just as children, with the average of 3,225 milligrams. So you can see from the bar graph that the recommended amount is first, and then this daily average that kids are consuming is well over the recommended amount by 1,000 milligrams almost. So this high amount of sodium puts children at risk for prehypertension and increases the chances that they will carry it into adulthood. So the goal is to have kids see now how important it is so that they don't carry those health issues into their adulthood life. So the amount of sodium is generally very elevated in fast foods and processed foods. Just one fast food meal could contain the amount of sodium that is suggested for the entire day. So you can see by this blue and green pie graph that each meal represents a third of it, so 33% of the amount of sodium for the entire day for 3 meals. And then the orange pie graph shows how just that one meal is 100% of the amount of sodium for the entire day. So this is the breakdown of sodium amount. So you can see the recommended amount is the first graph, and then the second one is the amount of one Happy Meal. And then the last one in red, it shows you if you multiply that one Happy Meal times 3, how it will exceed the recommended amount of sodium in one day. So processed foods such as, food from schools, restaurants, and stores is where most of the sodium consumption comes from. So it is recommended that if the food comes in a package, to take a look at the sodium label description on the food label. So as you can see by the arrow, it shows sodium is right under cholesterol, and you can see the milligrams amount right next to it, and it's often a lot higher than we think. So it is smart to check the food labels if the food does have one. So while sodium is a needed mineral in the human body, it is important to watch your intake and stay close to the recommendation, as close as you possibly can. It is also important for children to monitor, as it could help reduce the risk of developing health issues as adult later in life. So this was brought to you by the Healthy Lifestyle Center. And then we do have a website. It's hlcmuncie.com. We also have a Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like to contact us about this presentation or any other sort of nutrition questions, you can email us at hlc765@gmail.com. And here are my references.